Have you ever had to rage quit bedtime? The lights go out. Your heart starts pounding. Every creak in the house sounds like a threat, and the shadows in the corner of your room start looking monstrous. Monstrous. It feels like you're stuck on the hardest level of a horror game, and there's no escape. This was a nightly battle for Alex. He's 14, lives in California, and could dominate any Fortnite lobby, but his own bedroom after dark. That was a different story. The shadows weren't just shadows. They were lurking zombies from the horror streams he'd watched. Every noise was an enemy closing in. He felt trapped by a fear that just didn't make sense. But what if you could take that fear and turn it into courage? What if you could reclaim your nights and finally get the sleep you deserve? We're going to follow Alex's journey as he uses 5 simple but powerful strategies to conquer his fear of the dark for good. He leveled up his real-life courage, and by the end of this, you'll have the exact playbook to do the same. Why we fear the dark. Before we get into the strategies, you need to know you're not alone in this. A fear of the dark, or nyctophobia, is a very real phobia that affects more people than you'd think, including plenty of adults. It's often a fear from childhood that never quite faded away. And there's a good reason for it. Think about it from an evolutionary standpoint. For our ancient ancestors, darkness meant danger. It's when predators were most active. So our brains evolved to be on high alert when the sun went down. Your fear is basically an ancient survival instinct, working a little too hard. In today's world, that primal fear gets amplified. Maybe it was a scary movie. Or maybe it's the endless stream of stressful news that leaves our minds racing with anxiety. For Gen Z, who are juggling immense pressure about the future, finances, and work, this background anxiety can easily latch onto something as basic as the dark. The fear is real, but the good news is, it's something you can absolutely overcome. Recognizing why you're scared is the first step to taking away its power. Our first strategy is a heavy hitter in therapy circles, and one of the most successful methods for tackling specific phobias. Gradual exposure therapy. Studies have shown it to be highly effective, helping a majority of people who complete the therapy. The idea is simple. You slowly and safely expose yourself to what you're afraid of, until your brain learns it's not a threat. You're desensitizing your mind, proving to your internal alarm system that it could stand down. This is where Alex started his journey. The thought of a pitch-black room was terrifying, so he didn't start there. His first mission, as he called it, was to sit in his room for just 30 seconds with the lights dimmed. He kept his phone's flashlight in his hand, which gave him a sense of control. To keep his mind busy, he muttered his favorite game cheats, like a mantra. The next night, he did it for a full minute. Then, he tried it with just a small nightlight. Each step was a small win, a bit of XP earned in his quest for courage. You can do this too. Start small. Dim the lights for a few minutes while listening to music. Then, try sitting in a completely dark room for a short time, maybe with the door cracked open. The key is to go at your own pace. Push yourself a little, but never so much that you feel overwhelmed. Over a few weeks, Alex went from being terrified of a dim room to being able to handle a power outage without panicking. He had learned, through experience, that he was safe. He had leveled up. Fear thrives on what-if thoughts. What if that noise was someone breaking in? What if there's something under my bed? And that's where our second strategy comes in. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. CBT is considered a gold standard for treating anxiety in youth, and is all about identifying those negative, irrational thoughts and actively challenging them with logic. Alex's mind was a highlight reel of horror movies and video games. He'd lie in bed, convinced a zombie apocalypse was starting outside. With help from his therapist, he created a safety log. Every morning, he wrote down one simple fact. I was scared last night, but I was 100% safe. After a week, he had a list of 7 nights. After a month, nearly teary, he had a growing pile of evidence that directly contradicted his fears. When the thought there's a monster in the closet popped into his head, he learned to counter it. I've thought that for over 100 nights, and it has never once been true. It's just pixels in my head from a game. You can do this by journaling. Write down your specific fears about the dark. Then, write down the logical, evidence-based counter-argument. Is it more likely that the creak you heard was the house settling or a monster? By repeatedly challenging these thoughts, you weaken their power and rewire your brain. You can even use a notes app on your phone to keep track. When fear kicks in, your body reacts. Your heart races, your breathing gets shallow, your muscles tense up. This is the fight or flight response. So, strategy number 3 is all about hijacking that physical response and telling your body to chill out. One of the most powerful and immediate tools is the 4-7-8 breathing technique. It's simple. You inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 7 seconds, and then exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 seconds. This simple act has a huge effect on your nervous system, slowing your heart rate and signaling to your brain that it's time to calm down. For Alex, this became his go-to cool-down skill. When he'd wake up at 2 a.m. with his heart pounding, he'd start the 4-7-8 breathing instead of letting the panic spiral. He imagined it like gearing up for a raid of calm, focused inhaling, then exhaling all the stress of a tough boss fight. After a few minutes, he could feel his body relax. You can find tons of free guided breathing exercises on YouTube. Practicing these during the day makes it easier to use them when you really need them at night. Alright, before we get to our last 2 game-changing strategies, I want to hear from you. What's your dark mode trigger? Is it a specific thought, a sound, or just the overwhelming silence? Drop it in the comments. Sharing your story doesn't just help you, it helps everyone else in this community feel a little less alone. Our brains love patterns. A consistent nighttime routine acts as a powerful signal to your mind and body that it's time to wind down and feel secure. This strategy is all about building positive associations with bedtime, turning it from something you dread into a time of comfort. This means avoiding things that dial up your anxiety, like scrolling through stressful news, getting into intense online arguments, or drinking caffeine before bed. Instead, you create a fear-proof ritual. Alex completely transformed his evenings. He replaced his late-night doom-scrolling with a new routine. An hour before bed, he'd put on a chill lo-fi playlist. He built himself a comfortable blanket fort, his personal safe zone. He used a dim, warm-colored nightlight, not just to see, but because it reminded him of a futuristic heads-up display from a game. These small changes created a bubble of calm. He started looking forward to it. He was no longer just going to bed. He was completing his final sleep achievement of the day. Using comforting objects like a weighted blanket can also enhance this feeling of security. Our final strategy is about actively changing the story you tell yourself about the dark. Instead of it being a place of danger, what if it could be a place of peace, rest, or even power? This is the core of positive visualization, using your imagination to rewire negative associations. Being a gamer, Alex started to reframe the darkness as stealth mode. It wasn't something to fear. It was an environment that gave him an advantage, where he was hidden and safe. He would lie in bed and visualize himself as a hero on a mission, using the dark as cover. He even started drawing little comic book panels of his victories over his fear and shared them on Discord. The support he got from his squad was a huge confidence boost. This all led to his biggest achievement: camping in the backyard with a friend. Under the vast, dark sky, he wasn't afraid. He was stargazing, empowered by his new perspective. You can do this by imagining yourself in a safe, dark place, like a cozy movie theater. Or try drawing or writing a story where you're the hero who is in control in the dark. And remember, if the fear ever feels too big to handle on your own, seeking help from a therapist is a sign of strength. So there you have it. 5 powerful strategies to conquer your fear of the dark. We followed Alex's journey from being terrified of shadows to feeling empowered under the stars. Let's do a quick recap. First, gradual exposure. You slowly and safely face the dark to teach your brain it's not a threat. Second, challenge your thoughts. Use CBT to dismantle the irrational fears that fuel your anxiety. Third, use relaxation techniques. Control your body's fear response with simple breathing exercises. Fourth, create a safe routine. Build positive, calming rituals around bedtime. And fifth, positive visualization. Change your narrative, and reframe the dark into something empowering. Overcoming a deep-seated fear isn't about flipping a switch. It's about taking small, consistent steps. It's about turning fear into courage, one night at a time. Alex did it, and you can too. You have the tools. You have the strength. Now it's time to reclaim your nights. Crush your nyctophobia, just like Alex did. Start with strategy 1 tonight. For more mind hacks that actually work, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. Let us know in the comments which strategy you're going to try first. You've got this.